Maya's boss doesn't shout. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't need to. When he walks past her desk, his hand brushes her shoulder. When he leans in to explain a task, his fingers rest on her back, just a second longer than necessary. Once, during a meeting, his hand touches her chest, as if by accident. No witnesses react, no alarms go off, and that's the point. Nothing here is explicit, nothing here is illegal. But Maya understands the message instantly. He controls the timeline, he controls the contract, he controls how long she gets to stay. She freezes, not because she's confused, but because she's calculating. Her family depends on her income, her loan depends on her paycheck, her future depends on staying quiet. So she does what the system rewards. She says nothing. And this is how it begins. No violence, no villains, just a job offer she cannot afford to lose. At first, her manager seems supportive, friendly, encouraging. Then, slowly, the atmosphere shifts. Messages arrive late at night. Comments blur the line between professional and personal. Proximity starts to feel uncomfortable. Nothing explicit, nothing illegal, just enough to remind her who controls the timeline. Maya tells herself she's overthinking, because survival feels safer than confrontation, because silence feels cheaper than justice. Weeks pass. The requests grow heavier, the comments sharper, the closeness closer. Maya rehearses responses in her head, but each time she stops, because she knows the cost. If she speaks, she risks income. If she resists, she risks retaliation. If she leaves, she risks stability. So she adapts. Her silence becomes strategy. Her silence becomes survival. This is how power works when it doesn't need force. It doesn't demand obedience. It invites compliance. And it waits.
Now let me tell you about Daniel. Daniel works in sales. Every morning the team gathers, targets are announced, numbers are compared, and when someone misses a target, there is a ritual. The manager laughs, cracks jokes. Daniel is asked to stand up and explain why he failed. Sometimes he's told to clap for others, sometimes he's told to fetch coffee, sometimes he's told to be a good sport. They call it motivation. Daniel calls it humiliation. At first, Daniel laughs along. He tells himself it's harmless, that it's tradition, that it's temporary, but the ritual repeats, day after day, week after week. And humiliation becomes routine. Here's the psychology. The humiliation isn't the worst part. The calculation that follows is. If Daniel complains, he becomes difficult. If he stays silent, the humiliation stays predictable, contained. So he adapts. He normalizes the discomfort. This isn't about cruelty. It's about control through dependency. Now imagine another worker. Her contract isn't just paper. It determines her right to stay, her access to healthcare, her ability to remain employed. Her manager never raises his voice. He doesn't need to. He assigns extra work late at night, expects instant replies on weekends, comments on her appearance casually, nothing explicit, nothing illegal, just enough to remind her who controls the clock. Over time, something dangerous happens. People stop imagining exits, not because exits don't exist, but because imagining them feels risky, unrealistic, exhausting. This is how power becomes invisible. You don't feel trapped, you feel responsible. You tell yourself, this is how the real world works. I should be grateful. Others have it worse. And slowly, pressure becomes normal. Now here's the part most videos avoid. There is no dramatic ending here. Maya doesn't file a complaint. Daniel doesn't confront his manager. No system collapses. Most people stay. Some leave quietly. Some burn out slowly. Some learn to disappear while still showing up every day. Power doesn't always lose. Sometimes it just continues. Because silence is efficient. Because survival is exhausting. Because exits take time people don't have. And the most uncomfortable truth? Many of you listening are already inside one of these stories, not as a headline, not as a statistic, but as a routine. If this made you uncomfortable, good. If you want part 2 of this topic, comment. Part 2.